Should be. Working on my airport today. Been working on my airport off camera. I'm just kind of experimenting with some looks, some colors. So right now I'm just realizing last night that the way I'm designing this, there's no way I'm going to be able to clone this and put it over there. I'm going to have to build this one and that one. And the reason for that is because when I build this terminal, which I may actually make a little bit longer, I may actually extend it out an additional gate, because right now there's only 4 gates, and I kind of want 5, just based on how it looks. I think it just needs to be a little bit more elongated, but that's an easy fix. But what's going to happen is that we've got this width here, and the roof kind of goes down like this, and it's going to go. The building itself is rectangular right now, but what it's going to do is it's going to go, and it's going to curve just slightly. And the reason for that is so that we'll have like maybe 3 other gates here, which won't be very busy gates, which tends to be the case in the actual airport this is inspired by. This is actually inspired by the airport that is closest to me, and I really love just the way it's designed. And so I'm kind of mirroring everything there. So this side, there's some long domestic flights leave this gate, and then on this side is actually where the international flights leave. I'm pretty sure. Most of my flights leave from this gate, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, I usually always go to the left, so that would be this gate. So our terminal. So typically all my flights leave out of this one. So I'm pretty familiar with this side. I've been on the other side, and they're pretty much just mirror images of each other, which again would be great if I could just copy and paste it, but I can't because of the way it's designed. I realized that as I was like going to bed last night. I was like, oh shoot. All right, let's see if I can do this. There we go. Practice makes perfect, right? There we go. I can't help that one. There we go. Ooh, that was nice. I was using bone just because pretty much everything was white, and I was getting real sort of particular about sort of matching the color scheme, but it just looked so white. Like everything was just like too clean, and so I wanted to kind of throw a little bit of gray there. This is my own look at polished diorite. I basically just made it a brick color so we could actually have more brick options, I suppose. And so that's why that exists the way it does. These are just weighted pressure plates. Well, as you saw there, it worked whenever you threw something on there. And these are just the gate doors. Well, of course, now I'm stuck. Oh, gosh dang it! Now I'm stuck in here. That's the one thing whenever you're building buildings this large is that eventually you need to go outside, and if you don't leave yourself a way of exiting, you're kind of up a creek a little bit. I am leaving this white. I think this is white concrete, isn't it? Yeah, it's white concrete. I am going to leave that for now. What I really need to do is I really need to get this designed set in stone, because then I've got to go and clone it over there. So I'm just kind of working out all the bugs as I have been with the whole build. And we'll zoom out here in a minute once I get this side white out of the way. This will also help with blending in this white on top just because of the way I've sloped the roof. And I actually ran into an issue when I was building this. So herein lies an issue, is that this is 3 and this is only 2 just based on the way I designed it. So I suppose the question of the hour... No, I guess I would replace these like this. Oh, wow. That was the worst placement ever. I didn't even try that time. Yeah, just break it. There we go. Yikes. That was a poor performance. So this symmetry, I'm trying to break up the symmetry, essentially, is what it comes down to. And so the issue I had before was whenever I was designing this roof, which I still need to work on a little bit. I actually didn't mind the way that was looking, but I want to see what this looks like. Yeah, that's a little beefier by eliminating one of those underneath. It was looking fine. Oops. Let's see what that looks like as well. So it's just really coming down to personal preference at this point by breaking up that symmetry. Wait, what's going on here? Yeah. Actually, so how many is this? This is just 3, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so, oh, that's why. That's why. Because I'm losing one every time. Yeah, see what I mean? It's just, so right now, up here, in order to get this to be 3, I'd have to get rid of this one. I'd have to get rid of that one. So that's 3. So that's what it was. My pattern was off. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Still looks weird. The reason why this is, and this is what I was trying to talk about. So look, Desert Temple right there. Desert Temple. I'm pretty sure there's a Desert Temple over here. So I've been terraforming the desert, basically. I'm absolutely yeah, there's another one right there. It's like, I'm absolutely positive we have all sorts of stuff. But essentially what this roof line was, and I almost shot myself in the foot when I did this, is it's 3. It's not really 3 here. It's really just 2, 2, 2, then 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. And then I broke it up with the andesite slabs there. And this actually blends in much better than just this white sticking up on top. So really, because what I was concerned about was putting carpet, like just light gray carpet, to make it blend a little bit better. But honestly, this sticks out more than this. So that actually is quite nice, and it allows me to maintain this sort of zigzag line. But let me give you the grand tour, especially for those of you that are going to watch the VOD later. So I came out not very far, but of course, when you build an airport, you need a lot of land. You need a lot of space around you in order to, in real life, sort of maintain regulations. A lot of people don't like living near airports because of sounds and stuff like that. So really, this land out here is just going to be full of like hotels, maybe a restaurant or two, but essentially, just whatever ground controlled crew stuff. Plus, when people kind of come into town, especially if it's just like an overnight or whatever, they want to stay pretty close to the hotel. So that's just kind of a thing here. So what we did is we extended off of the interstate. So here you can see our hospitals right here. And then, of course, we've got sort of our little bit of an older neighborhood, and then our more sort of modern, advanced neighborhood. When did I could have sworn I turned animal spawning off. So, you're not too far from the downtown area. You've got the downtown buildings sort of formulating here. There's our Capitol building right there, just to kind of give you an idea of where we are. I really need to find a program that will make an overhead map of this so I can sort of explain from a top-down view a little bit better. I'm also sort of on the fence about sort of some computer upgrades, because right now I've got an i7. It's a 3770, which isn't terrible. I haven't overclocked it ever. It's something I'm considering. I definitely need a new power supply, and you may or may not be able to hear it, but it's just sort of starting to do that rumbly clicking, which is a little concerning. It's actually been doing that a lot longer than I've wanted it to. So I need to just upgrade that first. I need to just knock that guy out of the way. I've maxed out my memory. So really the only things I can upgrade in this thing without sort of going overboard is the video card. And I mean, I could update the processor, but really it just comes down to the video card. Sort of get a nice little juice in the arm. So I'm starting to look at this here. I want to fix this real quick because I'm just now seeing this. It kind of bothers me when it's not every two. Good night. Learn how to place blocks, brother. Okay. Yeah, see how it, like, when this line is sort of halfway there? Yeah, it just looks a little weird to me. So we'll just get rid of those. And that's probably just going to look terrible. Kind of eliminate some blocks there. Yeah, that's a little bit better. But essentially what I had to do is I had to build on-ramps. And so this is really my first one. And this took a lot longer than I wanted it to. But not only is it an off-ramp and an on-ramp system, it also has to go up and over and across. And then, of course, then you have to have one that comes back out here. The other thing, though, now that I think about it, is it not only has to go this way, this one is also going to eventually have to go that way as well. So I haven't even gotten there yet. And so I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make it, like, as soon as it gets here, I'm going to have to make it go this way and then somehow go up and around like that. And that's going to be super complicated. So as if this one wasn't already complicated enough, this little off-ramp, it was just sort of finding the right curve, the right elevation. Of course, then you've got these like little wonky things here. It just becomes this huge sort of issue. And then, of course, it's got to go up and over, and it's got to come down. So this one, we've got this one here. So we're pretty much done. Like I said, the only thing we have to do is be able to have people leave the airport and go, what is that distance? It's north, right? Yeah, so it's north. And right now, we just don't have that option built in anywhere. And so this is as far as I got, and I'm pretty happy with this. This, I think, is maybe a little too thin. I think maybe what I need to do here is I need to bump it out now that I can see it. Like, this is too skinny, whereas this is a pretty good width here. So I think what I need to do is I need to bump this out a little bit. So I need to put that in the old memory bank, or eventually I'll see it again and be like, that looks terrible. But essentially, like I said, you've got to get yourself really far away for it. This looks more like a racetrack than anything else at the moment. What this is going to be here, it's going to be sort of the economy parking for this particular airport. So you'll come on, you'll be able to these two lanes merge into one, and then this single lane goes this way. Whereas if people are going, if someone wanted to treat this like a racetrack, they could go around and around and around, which I've actually done for fun, maybe once or twice at the airport nearby. And they merge, and then they go onto the airport, and then, of course, this road comes off and goes like that. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to have sort of the economy lot here. There'll be a cell phone lot here. And essentially what that means, if you're not aware, is that since you really can't meet people at the gates anymore when they get off the plane, and you can still meet them at sort of baggage claim, what a lot of people like to do is they like to sort of sit and wait. Wow, that looks really terrible. I was trying there, wasn't I? I was really trying there. This is just so distracting. Let me fix this. Yeah, that looks just fine. We'll kind of extend it that way. But yeah, I was really trying something there, wasn't I? And it pretty much crashed and burned. But a lot of people, they'll sit in their cars, and then whenever the person gets off the plane, they can call them and be like, hey, I'm getting off my plane, come pick me up. So that way the person doesn't have to pay for any parking or sort of, jack up the line that's actually closest to the baggage claim. So, again, there'll be one there, and I think they actually also have some on the opposite side. So I'll have to look at that particular map in order for it to work. But I'm going to sort of creep up to the airport here, and then, of course, I'm going to check something on my phone real quick. So here you can sort of start getting an idea of what the actual airport itself kind of looks like while I double check and make sure that I'm still on the air. Because, again, that's kind of been an issue as of late, which is totally fine. So far, so good. Let's check Twitch real quick. I'll go ahead and sort of move back and forth a little bit. That way I'll know whenever it moves back and forth. Oh yeah, we're still on. We still on. We still good. We still good. Okay. So the idea behind this is almost identical, except for the fact that, and I may still end up fixing this, instead of it just being sort of an arc right here, what it does is it kind of, it's really hard to explain unless I get sort of a side view. Instead of it just sort of being flat like this, what it does is it kind of, this gray kind of comes and curves like this. And I tried so hard to make that happen, and I just couldn't get to work. And I said, you know what? This is the compromise. I love that the roof kind of just slopes down a little bit, and that's really cool too. So this is a bit of a departure from that. This is also a bit of a departure from it. But for the most part, when you pull up to my airport, this is pretty much what you can expect. So this will split back into. I may make this a little bit wider to make it 2 lanes again, so that whenever people come off, it becomes 2 lanes, because essentially what you can do here is there'll be a parking garage here. And so like essentially what it is the closer to the airport you get, the more you're going to actually pay for parking. So a lot of times there's this parking structure here where people will pay for parking, or they'll actually get their rental cars there. So they'll come out of the airport and get their rental cars, or they'll drop them off here and go into the airport. And so what's convenient about that is that there's a sky bridge that people can take. And so that was sort of a bit of a contention whenever I did that. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just making the video eventually that I will make whenever this thing is done, and I'll give you the grand tour, but I'm kind of just showing you a work in progress right now. So I've been, this is basically over the course of maybe 2 or 3 days of work, maybe 4, really when it comes down to it, just kind of spread out in maybe, 2 or 3 hour sessions. And so again, big parking structure will be here. I tried copying the one over by the mall by using command blocks. Not command blocks. What are those things called? Do I still have them in my inventory? I don't. Like structure blocks, I guess, that map builders would use. Yeah, and I basically nuked this whole structure right here because of the fact that it's not like Schematica. Schematica sort of shows you an idea of what it is, and you can rotate it and move it and stuff. And unfortunately, the structure blocks just aren't quite there yet. They kind of show you the outline, but they don't sort of show you the actual structure itself, which I'm hoping is something that they'll sort of figure out and build in. Or they'll just, now that 114 this is dot 3, I think dot 4 actually came out, so we could probably upgrade to 4, but they're not really providing anything for me to sort of make the jump just yet. But essentially, what it comes down to is, what was I saying? I know that Lightmatica exists, but I just haven't really messed around with it, and I don't know if I want to or not, as much as I'd like to. We'll just see. But essentially what happens here is you'll come up, and then this will take you to the departures. So if you're getting on a plane, people can kind of come up here, and depending on which gate they're on, this isn't as nearly as big as it is in real life. So really what I had to do is I had to scale this thing down quite a bit. If I'm not mistaken, there's at least, I think there might not be just 3 entrances. There may be 5, but I'm not sure about that. It's just, I'm kind of I'm a little worried because I search for this airport every day on Google, and I pull up all these pictures, and I feel like I'm on some sort of list now. Like, oh, this guy's looking at the airport. He's gonna do something real bad. It's just like, oh my gosh, like let's not make that happen. But essentially, again, you've got a lane in the middle if you need to cut in, or if you just really, you're going to drop them off, then you would want to come to the very far lane just to not be in anyone's way. And of course, this road will also need to sort of come out, down, and then connect here. So it'll connect. Gosh, I just may make it connect like here, like this, so that this is just one big merge lane, or maybe put a roundabout in or something. That may be a little too much because that actually isn't how it is in real life. There's a lot more real estate, I think, here for all this merging to happen. But again, I'm just working with what I have. I've got a certain scale that I want to keep things at. So this is a sky bridge, kind of real tight and narrow. Of course, this is your sort of escalator that will moving walkway is what I think they call it. That will take you all the way there. I don't think those are actually needed. And I may actually change these, the color of this, so it's not all just black and gray through here. You actually get a little bit of color. It'll be sort of the blue, not the, is it, it's more of the teal blue, right? Oh, I don't even know at this rate. It's this, cyan, that's right, the actual cyan. That's basically what most of my my escalators are. Yeah, this already looks better. But again, I'll fix that. I'll fix that in post. We'll fix that little bit later. Yeah, that already looks better. What's really cool about the airport, the real life airport, is it has these lights that are these like rounded lights that sort of light up and follow you as you go down. That would be really cool to do, but that would require redstone and glowstone and stuff like that I just don't have the time or really the knowledge to knock out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that because that just looked a little weird to me. If you were picking people up, this is where you would come from that cell phone lot. You'd come down here. Again, you would sort of get in your lane, you'd pick somebody up, and you'd just get out of here. And so that's what this is. So we've sort of got the underpass here, which is alternating andesite and stone. These lights are only temporary. That's just so I could actually see when I was down here. This airport full of glass, which is a little scary when you start thinking about it. So essentially you've got a white stained glass pane and just light gray stained actual glass blocks themselves here. Let's actually go up this way first. So we've got this really cool sort of weather structure, which is really cool. It also afforded me the ability to sort of blend in this end-rod. So this is lit up at night, which is really nice. This is really nice just because of sort of the unpredictable weather we have here in Indiana. So essentially, this is what you see when you walk in. It's just a big open, not a pole barn isn't necessarily, it's just this big open metal structure with these columns that I haven't sort of built in yet. But yeah, it's just this big open roof, which took me a while. I kind of fought against the idea of these stairs here, but I wanted to give it a little bit more curvature. Otherwise, it was just real flat and kind of blended in a little more than I wanted it to. So this could change at some point. If you get real close to the details, you'll notice that this is 3 tall. Originally, it was 3 and I think it was 3 and 2, or maybe, I think I was alternating between 3 and 2, and eventually it just looked so weird once I put these stairs in that I had to kind of do that. The other thing I did so that at nighttime is that these end rods blend in real nice with sort of these structural glass panes. So I went ahead and did that. I actually haven't looked at it at night since I did that, because eventually adding those in before I put the skylights in really helped. So let's do time set. We'll do midnight just because that way it'll be super dark. Yeah, see, it's a little bit more inviting. What I need to do is I think I need to put one up front here, or one outside maybe. Just the fact that this sort of roof outside is, up by itself with nothing underneath it or really any lighting is kind of scary. But look how nice that looks. That looks really nice, doesn't it? I'm actually really, really happy with the way that looks, especially at nighttime. So we'll go ahead and do that. So when you walk in, you'll have a couple options. So this is the only one that I've actually kind of got built. So this would be where you would check in, check your bags, put your bag here, answer some questions, show some ID, and then be on your way. And then that would allow you to come through here. Technically, you haven't gone through security yet. You could, if you wanted to, come to the airport and enter this area here. Essentially, because this would be like the food court and the shopping areas. Once you enter a terminal, that's when you go through security. So if you really, really liked a particular thing at the airport, you could come and hang out. This is a huge open area. This is even bigger in real life, and it's so nice. It's so inviting when you come in for the first time, whether you're flying into the area or you're leaving the area. This is just one of the nicest airports I've ever been to. It's just very open and airy, and it just feels really nice. Just feels really good when you walk in. Has this walking path above, which I'm not even sure if anyone a regular person can come into, but this is where your bags would go in, and then eventually there's some sort of thing that I'll have to figure out how it works here. I don't know how it works in real life, but I'm pretty sure there are multiples of these. So there'll not only be one here, which we could probably use the command block or the structure block to copy over there because there's nothing going to be funny about it. When you get off a plane, that's the thing I need to figure out. Is you'll notice that there's glass here. This is technically on the other side of this glass. You're still technically in the airport and don't have to go through the security checkpoint. We just haven't gotten there yet. So this would be a security checkpoint. You would enter here, you'd go through security, and then once you got through security and you're on this side, you could go into the terminal to your gate. Security is a big thing here in the United States, especially at airports, especially after 9/11. So whenever they did, this airport, they really had to, figure that out. This is a good example of why this sort of pass-through exists. So whenever I fly out for work, a lot of times before I got TSA pre-check, which essentially is just like, hey, they do a background check, you pay for it every year, and it just lets you sort of expedite the security point process. You get to keep your shoes on, you get to keep your laptop in your backpack and all that other stuff. You just go in real quick, they trust who you are, and you get on your merry way. In the mornings, you would go through this way. Otherwise, every other passenger has to go through here. So let's say, this is like I'm trying to think. In real life, I think this is like the Delta, maybe American Airlines, and let's just say it's America, Delta, and Southwest. Those planes go over here, and this is like Spirit, and I don't know. I can't think of any other airlines. I usually fly Delta, so there's more airlines over here, like Spirit, Virgin, and again the international flights. So they would all go over there. JetBlue. Let's just throw them in there. So like if you had to go through normal security because they give priority to pre-check over there, you would have to go through normal, and then it's like, oh, actually I'm on JetBlue, so then you would be able to walk through this way, and there would be a whole nother security checkpoint here, but you're still in the good because then you'd be able to go into your gate here, which is mirroring that one. So that's how this exists, which is really nice. Of course, in those terminals as well would be different restaurants, restrooms, that kind of thing. I have not figured that out yet. A lot of times those restaurants and stuff are sort of in this area here. So that may be the thing I take a little bit of liberty on, is sort of expanding this area here before it curves. And so that's something I've got to figure out. It's something that I thought I was going to figure out on camera today, but I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. This area for security isn't as big as it should be, I guess, in real life. So what I may need to do is I may need to send people this way and then go this way, just to make sort of those things fit. I don't know what that looks like yet, but just look how beautiful. Like, this is. I'm really proud of this. Like these is so many blocks, and so essentially what it looks like. And so this is a dome. This still the glass and stuff still exists in the real life airport, but I just kind of took some liberty because I wanted to make this like, look at that. It looks. Either, I don't know. There's just something very pleasant about that for some reason. It looks kind of like a portal gun or something. But again, I wanted it to sort of come and curve. I'm not even tall enough to, I can't, I can't even point my mouse. There we go. So you've got this circle here, and then it kind of flares out a little bit, and then of course you've got this curve like so. There's just something very nice about it. I wanted to sort of drag the elevation down a little bit, so whenever you walk in, it's very grandiose. And then again, whenever you walk in through sort of the food court area, that it's also grandiose. So essentially, these are mushroom blocks. This is actually the alternate mushroom. So normally looks like that, which would look fine on its own, which you'll kind of see it does there. But then whenever you place another block and break it, it does this texture, and I don't see that texture very often. And this is roughly about the right color of the real life airport. So essentially, what we'll have here is we'll have a couple different, maybe 3 if I can manage it. On this side, we might be able to squeeze in a thing over there. I'll probably do one on that side, and then maybe 2 or 3. Again, we're going to be scaling it back, but it'd be like your Chick-fil-A's, your Hudson News, stuff like that, where you'd be able, maybe not Hudson News. It's more restaurant related, because I think really what it comes down to is if you're greeting somebody or you're sending them off, they kind of want you to have a spot where you can eat, and sort of fellowship. So whenever you get off a plane, that's what we've got to figure out as well. Of course, I see these glaring holes over here, and I've got to fix them. You've got to get off the plane and then get to baggage claim. And so the way that works here at this airport, and you've got some walkways here, which they will be separated. I think that's where I want it to end. There'll sort of be a break in the middle, probably between this gate and here, maybe between. I don't know. Again, it's all very. I'm so used to it in real life that I've got to sort of break it up in my head. So when you get off, you come through this way. Again, you don't have to worry about the security checkpoint. But I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to break it up so that there is. I'll probably just do it right here. That way it's a clean break. There's usually someone sitting here there's signage. There's a little bit of a tunnel as well, so that may actually be what we need to do. Where it's basically like if you walk out after this point, you're going to have to go back through security in order for this to work. Otherwise, you could just, again, keep going that way. Let's say, there's a pretzel place, or I think there's that's the thing. There's always like this huge line for Starbucks, but then there's like another really great coffee shop on the other side that most people don't know about. And so they kind of miss out. So there'll definitely be a coffee shop on both sides, that kind of thing. But again, you leave, and so I don't necessarily want to break this, but I will, because I'm going to have to eventually. I don't want to figure that out today, but I just know that I'm going to have to do that. So then you come out, and it's just like, oh, welcome home. It's such a good feeling coming back home to this airport, because again, you just walk out, and it's just like, oh, like glass, and it's just very nice, very open. If you ever have the chance to fly through Indianapolis, I would really highly encourage it. So then you come this way, and then these escalators, both of these escalators go down, or there's stairs. I usually opt out of the escalator because I've been sitting for hours, so then I just beat everybody by just running down the stairs. And when you go down the stairs, there's at least, I think this is probably to scale. There's either 2 or 3 baggage claim carousels, and I think we only really have room for 2 down here, but there'll be 2 here, and there'll be 2 on this side. And so the issue that I have here is, in real life, like this staircase, this escalator, and this ceiling height is much taller in real life than it is here. And that was the thing I didn't really think about. Like, I had to sort of start at one point and then work my way. Instead of working sort of my way down up, I worked my way like left to right, or I guess in this case it would be east to west. And then I went up. And so I sort of had to just deal with the consequences of this being however, shallow it is. And I think this is actually not as far down, like to sea level, as it could be. And so if I really, really wanted to, I could have came in and fixed this. But I like to sort of challenge myself and keep this the height it is. There will probably be some sort of slab going on here because I have to sort of hide all this stuff. And it'll probably be white to help sort of brighten up this area down here because, again, these lights just aren't going to cut it. And natural light isn't going to cut it either. So I'm going to have to find some really clever ways of hiding blocks in the ground and stuff like that just to help light it up. But, this escalator, it looks fine. It does its job. It gets the job done. I've been sort of working on what it looks like underneath. At some point, this was all closed in, and it may go back to that. I don't know. I like the idea of it not being just this wall that you run into, but it's probably going to go back to being just a wall that you run into because then I can sort of hide some storage in there too. And then there'll be some sort of baggage claim offices back here for each airline as well. And then, again, some sort of baggage belt system that I've got to figure out because when people get off their planes and stuff, bags got to come in through here. So if you look, there's the tarmac right there. They'll come in this way, and they'll do their big maze thing like we saw in Toy Story 2 and sort of come this way. That's the one thing about the Indy airport that's really nice is that like once you get off the plane, your bag is pretty much right there for you. If you take a leisurely stroll from the gate, like you don't have to wait very long, which I really appreciate. It's one of the things they do really well, and it's not done in a big, you know, hastily fashion. It's done really well. I've never had an issue. I'm gonna go ahead and break this and sort of preserve that. But yeah, the escalator comes down, and then you can leave, get picked up by your person, or in my case, I walk across the street. I don't worry about this. I walk across the street. I walk through the entire parking garage, and then there's actually, instead of being the economy lot, there's actually a small lot right here that I park at. It's I think it's the park and walk, I think is what it's called, and you save a little bit of money, but you also don't have to wait for the shuttle because if you wait for the airport shuttle, you have to sort of you're slave to whatever that process is, and I don't like that. I just want to get home. I just want to get home. So the issue is in real life, I had to sort of figure out like how do they get up to this sky bridge? Because again, this height is a little bit more than what it is. The way it works in real life is you come down these stairs, and I'm pretty sure there's another set of escalators and stairs that go directly up. I tried for the life of me to make that fit here, and it just was not working. So what I had to do was I had to sort of compromise. And what this is that this is, I think I have this slated for. Okay, there's stairs down here, and I think what this is, and again, this is still not fixed because, man, I don't know. I just have to sort of be okay with this being what it is. So I may just have to make these both escalators because you still need to provide. Well, I guess if an escalator breaks, it's still a set of stairs, right? So I may just have to make this, an escalator and that an escalator. Then you can leave on the Sky Bridge, go to the parking garage, blah, blah, blah. But the other thing is people come into the airport from this Sky Bridge and they have to make it back. They have to make it up to sort of the check-in process. And that's where this comes in. And so what this is that this is the escalator that goes up into this area here. So that's why this exists. So this only comes up. It doesn't go down. Therein lies the issue is that whenever you leave the airport, again, there's more options in real life than there are here. So something that I considered was putting a stairwell just right here that basically matches this here. So in order for that to work, is I would need at least a 4 wide block here because 1, 2, 3, 4. But look, it immediately runs into that. So again, it's just a matter of sort of dealing with the real life consequences versus what you can actually do in this world. So that is sort of the airport as in its current state, future plans, and in a nutshell, what's going on. There'll be offices and stuff up here as well. Again, I don't know how people get up to this here, but they do. And it is what it is. So there you go. Of course, there's, really before I put these gates inside, I need to actually build an airplane. And here lies the issue. In Minecraft, building at an angle becomes an issue. So if I were to like park an airplane this way, I'd have to sort of jagger it sideways, and that would just look really, really strange. So what I'm going to opt to do instead, and this is really how it is in real life, so this actually kind of works in our favor, is that when you have your things here, and actually I'll go ahead and show you this. Let me turn the reference on. So I can actually do one of these things, which is nice. So this is your gate right here, the thing that I'm circling here on the screen. And then this is sort of where the planes would be. And so that's what you're kind of looking at here. You're looking sort of at, this is the sort of the mirror image of that, I guess. Or actually, no, this is right. This is the right side because that's the end. I don't think it curves there. So as you can see, some guy made this in SketchUp. I'm pretty sure he made this in SketchUp, which is insane. So I use a lot of these for reference. So like this is the terminal map, and so you can kind of see how sort of these wings, and so like this is Concourse B, is that what we're looking at currently. And so right now, they've got a ton of gates, on one side, and then they've got 3 here. So I'm really, again, scaling it down. But what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to make it so that the airplanes park perpendicular to the actual concourse, and then we'll utilize the sky bridges to go over. So again, there's the opening where the highway's up there. This is the opening here. And actually, let me go ahead and switch. Let's switch over to screen capture. There we go. It's a little bit better for you. So again, these are the escalators down. This might actually be an escalator up now that I think about it. And this is probably a stairwell up. So we could probably just go ahead and utilize it that way. This is a stairwell up, and this is an escalator up. So maybe that's what we do is we just say one of the escalators is down, one of them is up, and the stairwell is one way or the other. We're going to opt for that. So again, you can kind of see that there's this really nice sort of coverage here. You've got Delta's gate here. You just walk right in and go in, that kind of thing. See how it curves this way? That was the big thing. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. This is the American check-in. This is what it looks like. I mean, you just look how massive this is. It's just wide open and airy and light. It just is so nice. This is the opposite of what we're working on. So you can kind of see how it curves up this way. You've got these lights that jet up here. This guy, the fact that I found these is amazing. But yeah, I can tell that it's SketchUp because of this here. Again, there's that bridge. This here. So these are those walking, moving walkways that I was talking about. See how it's broken up. This is baggage claim. Yeah, so there's three. There's three on each side. So we're only going to have two. But again, see how much taller it is? This is, I think, a 3D mock-up. I don't think this is quite open yet. Again, just the fact that he made these is so nice. You can kind of see how there's these. I haven't put these in yet either, so I haven't done any of this structure, so I haven't figured that out yet. There's that. Welcome to the greatest city in racing. So they always put stuff up for the Indy 500 when people come in. But yeah, see, this banner's huge. I mean, the fact that this is all existing. This is looking out towards the front of the airport. So these are basically the images that I've been referencing to make this happen. And this is the rental car building. So that would be in the parking garage area. See how it's not a dome? It's just a big open circle. And again, there's another picture of how large it is. And this is what I was talking about before. So this is a stairwell. Both of these go out, stairs up, and then this one comes down. And then this is, so that would be, Terminal B, terminal, and this would be, so this would be like a security area here. One would be over here. So this is sort of the back of the airport. So again, it does one of these like loop things, but I'm just not going to mess with that. But yeah, lots of images to reference. Go back to the game, turn off the reference. But you can kind of see what I'm working with. What I am working with. Man, my nose itches. Hold on one second. I got to do something. Jeez. Got a bunch of stuff tickling my nose. And what's really funny, too, is like right now we're in a river and then we're in a desert. So you can kind of see how the sky changes colors. That's something we're dealing with. I don't know. It's like these sudden weather changes. It's kind of funny. I don't honestly know what I'm going to do in terms of terraforming. I guess we're just going to have to butt it up against the ocean, which was not something I expected to do. But what's really funny is that there's glaciers out here. There's this ocean that sort of goes into this deep frozen ocean, and it's just like, oh boy. And then look at this. Like, I've never really seen land like this before. Like, this is still considered frozen ocean, but it actually has like dirt out here, which is really strange. And you can kind of see this is where the world border was whenever I had this map on a server. So, we are going to have to come out here a little bit, which is fine. But then I'm going to have to sort of terraform uh, stuff into the ocean. I guess that's a bit of a security risk as well. You got these airplanes close to the ocean, so I'll have to read into that a little bit. But I think essentially what it is, if I'm not mistaken, let me look real quick. You can sort of scope out that. I want to do my daily search for the airport and get flagged by the TSA, or not TSA, NSA. I'm trying to think of how the actual. Yeah, so when you're looking at it, so you're looking at the term. Man, this thing is gonna be huge. When you're looking at it here, there's a runway on this side. There's a runway on this side, and then there's a small runway in the back. And so, in terms of, yeah, man, there's a lot of land. I mean, we're spreading ourselves out. That's the thing. We're just spreading ourselves out, which is why we really needed to do that. So, um, yeah, that yeah that tarmac in real life is gonna come down to about right here, to be honest, which is extremely close to this here. So yeah, I mean I'll probably cut it a little bit short, but yeah, both of them will come this way. One seems to be larger than the other by not a lot. So one of them seems to get cut off. Let's see if we were looking. How are we looking at it? We're looking at what this is a weird angle. So we're looking at it this way. Um, This one on this side is a little bit longer, so it will come down a little bit more, and then this one kind of gets cut off right here, and then again, there's one in the back. So I want to sort of keep up with the Joneses as much as I can, and do that. And of course, on each side, I think there's FedEx has a big sort of fleet that it maintains, so there'll be a lot of garages for planes and stuff like that. Hangars, I guess, is a better way of saying it, over here, and then there's some stuff over here. It's just, again, this is a project that's going to take a long time, and it might just be one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm feeling pretty hot and toasty about it right now, and I'm just like, man, I can't do any more work on this, and then we'll go work on something else. So this is going to be a long-term project for us to sort of to figure out. What I want to do now, though, is I do want to. Nope, don't click on it. I do want to sort of figure out the curvature. And in real life, it's actually, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, let me look here real quick. So on the left terminal, there is a Wolfgang Puck, Copper Moon, Coffee, Camden Food, Auntie Anne's, a pretzel place. Maybe the Starbucks is on the other side. I don't know. There's like a Best Buy Express. There's going to be shops and stuff in there too. So that's what's kind of funny about it. So that's what we need to sort of figure out right now, is how that curvature is going to work. Okay, I see something. I see something interesting about this as well. So this makes sense. If you drop somebody off and you're like, "Hey, I've got to go park the car, but I'm going to drop you off first," this one of these lanes curves back into this parking garage here. So we're going to have to figure that out. I'm actually seeing that right now in the overhead view. One of them curves in, one of them merges in this one. Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's just so much going on. Airports are complicated. Bravo to whoever made this one, because it's a real nice airport. I appreciate it every time I come in. Okay. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this figured out. I do need to get my commands. I've got a sort of a notepad document that has commands that I can just copy and paste and modify because I'll never remember how to do any of this stuff. We'll just do one. We'll just do one layer at a time. I've noticed that anytime I do anything more than one layer down, it can get messy real quick. So we'll just kind of shave this a little bit. Ooh, that could be. It's like that could get real close. Let's kind of get this out of the way, you know. But see how I didn't have to sit there and knock out all these blocks. Yeah, command lines are nice. Okay. You know what we'll... Figuring out this curve is going to be real tricky. And so that's what I've got to... Because it's not a natural curve either. It's just kind of like... Let's see. I better think about this. I think I want the curve to happen after you get through security here. So let me just go ahead and come this way. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. It's a pretty wide hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's probably going to be right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's fine. 9 is nice, though. So we'll just do this. Although that doesn't make any sense because this is going to all be open. But we know that's where the wall of certain things will be, right there. Okay. So then, it's so weird because it's, hey, KXNG Kings? I don't know, how do you pronounce that? How's it going? Welcome to the YouTube stream. Let me show you what I'm talking about just real quick. Man, I wish I knew. Screen capture, there it is. So see how, so this is the one we're working on right here. So see how it's real long here. And again, that's another reason why I might make it a little bit longer. And then it kind of curves here. But when it curves, it's not the same width. It actually is real wide right here. And then it kind of like slims down just a little bit. But this curve here is way more natural than this one here. We can pretty much do what we need to do to make this happen. So I'm not super worried about it. And so I've just got to figure it out. I've just got to soak it up and go sky high and look at it. It's just, taking that first step is always interesting. So I'm going to use a different block. I'm going to use one that sort of stands out more than dirt, I suppose. What up, bunny? I need to start curving it, though. It's a pretty sharp turn, too. It's not like it takes its sweet time getting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4, 3, 3. I'll do another 3, and then just a bunch of 2s. Oops. So let's see. So you want some symmetry to it. So 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 there. And then a bunch of 1s? So what was it again? 3 3s, 4 2s, then 5 1s? Or should it sort of extrapolate more than that? I guess is the question. So if I did that, so I'm adding, again, we just won't know until we look at it. So let's just, it's a very unnatural, it looks really cool, but it is really unnatural. Actually, it doesn't look half bad. Actually looks pretty good. I'd be happy with that. And then, so we know it's not the same width as this, because again, it's a part of the terminal that doesn't get used very often. So let's see how wide this is. 1, 2, I want to, if I'm going to put a number on this, I'm going to say it is 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, I was close. 23. Or wait, was I right? I don't know. So what is... So this would be 12 would be halfway. Let's do 15. Let's just see what 15 looks like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right? Well, we could probably make that work. So now what I've got to figure out is we're going to work our way back. But the interesting thing here is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got to be able to put, we're not putting a gate here, but we are going to put a gate. It looks like they have one here and here, and then also one like here. But what we'll do is we'll put one sort of like here, here, and right here in the middle. And we'll make that work. So now, I guess let's just see what happens when we follow the same mathematics here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 ones. And then 5 twos. Oops. If I knew what I was doing. So I gotta keep this airport going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then... So essentially what we need to do is we need to connect back up to that. And therein lies the issue. This is maybe getting too skinny too quick a little bit now that I see it. So let's just add 2 here. Oops. And then see what happens. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7. What up, Vossa? Creative boy. Making an airport. Yeah, so we're working on one of our terminals on our airport. I just actually gave the grand tour, so you'll be able to watch that on the VOD. But I'll do a flyover. I'll do a flyover. So parking lot here, eventually. This is based on a airport real close to me. I love it. Food court. Security checkpoint. Terminal. Yeah, so we're working on one of the terminal wings here. Literally, it's quite a wing. Okay, so here's what I'm already noticing is that this needs to maybe be a little bit longer because we need to get to that point there. So this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually work from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. No, that's 4, not 5. And maybe one more for good measure. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a bunch of 4s. Okay. That may not be... Yeah, that's not aggressive enough. So instead of 5s, we'll do 4s. Yeah, we'll do 4s. 2, 3, 4. And then 3. Yep. And then a whole mess of 2s. Yeah, that's giving us a much better curvature. So let's see. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then let's just see what a bunch of ones do. Like, where does that connect us at? Because eventually it's gonna. Oh, because there's real close. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. I may have figured it out. Ooh, it's close. Ooh, it's close. I think we just need to add maybe, gosh, 2 more, and then just do the ones. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to have to add another one in. So it's probably going to hit us about right there. Again, not the most natural shape. I mean, it's hard to tell because everything's gray. You know, you've got the tarmac that's gray. I've considered maybe making the tarmac a different color instead of being stone. Maybe just making it a lighter. So like right now, I'm using like the black terracotta as my road material. So basically, it'd be the same thing for airports. I mean, and one thing we could consider doing is like this doesn't have to be completely flat. Like this could be at an angle here. Which again, this is real close to sort of formulating that shape. I just think we would need to come down. I still think I need to come down another 2. I'm just not feeling it. The other thing we could easily do, now that I think about it, is instead of it just being a bunch of ones, we could actually 2 it off here as well, and then do a bunch of ones. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. It's probably gonna look real funky now that I'm thinking of that shape in my head. Good night, man. Figure out how to place blocks. Oh yeah, what did I do there? That looks funker. And not in a good way. What did I do? Yeah, this is the tricky part, man. It's a really weird shape. Good grief. Learn where to click. Yeah, that's already better. This right here. And then we just won it all the way up there. I think it just needed a little bit of guidance and permission to curve a little bit there. The fun part is going to be trying to figure out where this... I need to do that earlier. Let's just look at that. I can always figure this out here in a minute. No! Ah, I know how to fix this. There we go. I think that might be it. I think that might be it. I do want to try something. I want to try to smooth this corner out a little bit. That doesn't really matter. It looks weird. Maybe that. Yeah. Oh, gonna sneeze. Man, my allergies are acting up lately. I did drive with the windows down yesterday because it was very hot, but it felt nice. I still hate that. I'll knock that out. There's still something a little wonky about the shape. I think the 2s is where it's at, though. I think doing... We're getting close. But again, this kind of defeats the purpose. It's a much sharper curve than this. That's the thing. It's just I can't... I'm not able to... Yeah, I'm building an airport. How's it going, Andy? I'm building the Indy airport. You know how it's all weirdly shaped and beautiful at the same time? I'm just trying to figure out that wing shape. Pretty much what I need to do is I need to just embrace this curving a lot sharper, I think, to skinny it out. I hate to break this up though, because it's pretty close, but it's just not there yet. And again, it's just terrifying that I'm going to have to mirror this on the other side. Okay. Well. So if I'm curving this out, it needs to be... Okay. I need to find some different music to listen to. There we go. So... What I almost need to do is I just need to pull this image into Photoshop. Let me do that real quick. Zoom in. Oh, wow. You can zoom in really far. That's terrifying. Actually, I don't need to. What an odd shape. I'm just going to pull this up for... There you go. That way you guys can kind of see what I'm trying to figure out here. It's a very strange shape. And again, it doesn't have to match. It just has to make sense in my world. This is my world. I don't think my computer... Let me see what I can... Quit Discord, quit TeamViewer. That's about all I can stop. Okay. Just trying to match up. So let's just kind of try to match that. There we go. It seems like it needs to be a little bit longer, doesn't it? On the top part here. Honestly, I would be completely fine with it being the exact same width, even though the reference image sort of squeezes it out a little bit. So that's essentially what I need to do is I don't necessarily mind. I don't mind this curve so much. I feel like it still needs a little bit of work. But if I I definitely want to go out a little bit more on that end up there. I think maybe just adding another gate, which is like another 13 blocks, I think, is going to help sort of that shape there. But again, it doesn't really matter. But I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna add. I hate that I'm about to do this. It was looking close, but it wasn't quite there. I think if I make it more of a J. And then I just embrace the 3s here. Oops. What was I going to ask you, Andy? I found my old NES, which I'm still convinced doesn't work, and I know you dabble in that stuff. You're welcome to tinker with it and soup it up if you want to. That was one thing. Gosh, I was going to ask you something. I don't remember. Also, that's what she said about your chat. Ha ha ha. I'm pretty sure it still powers on. I think we tried to mess. I honestly haven't tried to mess with it since I think we last had it. It's literally in the same bag, the Xfinity bag that I brought it over in. So I'm almost positive it probably still powers on. What am I doing here? Like, how am I borking this up? This is what I need to do. I need to pull up a better reference. Let's pull up plots. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think the pin connector's all wonky. Is it refusing to want to work? So none of the games were wanting to launch. Oops. So here, let me show you what I'm working on. So I've got plots going on here. Circle generator. So I want to kind of do something like this. Man, it does not like using that screen capture, is it? Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's not crucial because I could still honestly play on my my BlackBerry. My BlackBerry. Raspberry Pi. I play on my BlackBerry. I don't know about you suckers, but yeah, I've got this BlackBerry I can play some games on. No, boo boo. Yeah. It's getting closer. So let's see. Let me increase the depth a little bit more on the drawing that I'm looking at. This is better. So let's try this. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. I think that's the issue I'm having, though, is that the width isn't right here. So let me do, what was it, 23? Let me try that, which is a much bigger number. Okay. Man, without this ellipse generator, I'd be screwed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, especially with all this shapes. Good night. Good luck trying to figure that on your own. Four. Then And then so now, this is always the fun part, trying to figure out how you match it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's an offset of what you would normally do like that. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. Again, it's weird that what am I using for that though? I guess is the question. I'm using a screen capture, maybe not a display capture, and maybe that's maybe that's why it's so laggy. It's kind of funny. It works fine whenever I'm not in Minecraft, but Minecraft hates it whenever I pull that up. 2, 3, 4. So, you would be interested in this, Andy. So I just started watching Next Generation all over again. I started with Voyager, and then I was like, this is it's going to take a while. You know, it's like I can't just plow through a couple episodes of Voyager. As much as I like Voyager, I'm just like, oh man, we gotta figure something out here. And what I'm noticing, and maybe this is just what everyone always has said about, yeah, the first episode of Voyager is kind of not good. But yeah, Voyager ended up being one of my favorites. But yeah, I just don't. I mean, I guess Mike and I watched it live every week, so it's probably a little bit easier that way. But one thing I noticed about Next Generation, and tell me if I'm wrong, and I know a lot of people are like, man, you just got to get through the first season, and then it gets real good after that. There's some really good episodes in the first season. But, and maybe this is because it was Gene Roddenberry, but am I not crazy thinking that they were just pretty much trying to recreate the original Star Trek series? Like with the sets and like the costume designs and stuff. I'm just like, what is going on? Like we're gonna beam down to the planet. And it's just like, ugh. Like, let's just put some plastic ferns everywhere. It's like, oh, stop. Like, I don't know. It's just there's all sorts of stuff in the first season that I didn't realize that were gonna be in the first season though. Like the battle bridge. I was just like, holy moly. And of course now I'm watching it now on Netflix where they have all like the updated graphics and stuff. And I just like I'm desperate to go look and see what that stuff looked like. Just to kind of get an idea, you know? I'm just like, oh geez. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But yeah, I'm just watching, thinking, man, they could have done a little bit better with this. Was the battle bridge in the first episode? You might be right. It's really cool. It's a really cool idea. I actually remember having the diecast Enterprise, and it did that. And then at one point, I think I just had, like the bottom section. I lost the saucer part. Yeah, you might be right. I think what happened was I like watched the first couple episodes, and then I like jumped over to Voyager, and then I've jumped back. I can maybe watch like 2 or 3 episodes of Next Gen, and then before bedtime. Then I'm like, all right, I got my fill. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going to do 15. Is that looking better? Not particularly. I feel like I need to... So, in the order of, so is, I'm trying to think. Is Deep Space Nine? Where does Deep Space Nine fall in conjunction with Next Gen and Voyager? For some reason, I just cannot remember that. I sure I could look it up. Oh yeah, like the whole not having any resources thing, and then just like doing whatever they want is very frustrating. Yeah, like we have no power, and it's like let's go play jazz. Because that's what's funny about it is I keep thinking that's like that was a next generation issue, and it's totally not. Okay, that's what I thought. So like Deep Space Nine kind of goes over next gen and then goes into Voyager. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because don't they leave? Doesn't Voyager hook up with Deep Space Nine? Or at some point there's like a connection there. I feel like there's one of them like docks with it or whatever. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's just like I may just end up doing that instead. I may just sort of do next gen, DS9, Voyager. Yeah, that's what I thought. Voyager starts in DS9, which is cool. Which is a cool little connection they did there. But yeah, I think this is already looking better. Just had to add that little extension. I don't know. It's strange how I'm getting back into it. I don't know if I'm wary of this shape just because of how that one needs to be worked on. But yeah, it's not quite there yet. Gotcha. Yeah. Let's see. What am I missing? I feel like I don't think it's adding more stuff here. I think it's I'm missing more of a curve. So let me see what happens when I don't think that's it. I think that's it. It's just a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it's 4. Yeah, I just remember you plowing through those episodes. I'm just like, yeah, I accidentally found myself watching these. I think I actually started watching them on Hulu, and then so it's on Hulu and Netflix right now. You can watch it on either system, and you can't skip the intro on Hulu. I don't think. Plus, I downgraded my Hulu plan to Hulu with commercials, so then I have to like sit through the commercials. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was on Amazon as well. I would not be surprised one bit. It's a little bit better. I still think I need to go up. This might be close. 1, 2, 3. So that's only 6. I haven't. Have you watched Discovery? I haven't even attempted that yet. I'm just too cheap to pay for CBS All Access. I've heard good things and so much things. But I trust your judgment more than others. Got it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense for those to be on also CBS Access. It's like, hey, we should have probably not given those rights to. Oh shoot. I've actually been really happy with the way, they updated the graphics and stuff. I think this is it. Yep. Yeah, I've heard good things about Discovery, so I'm kind of looking forward to jumping into it at some point. Not sure when. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. There we go. Yeah, DS9 doesn't get any love, man. I was a huge fan of DS9, and it's just it'd be nice if they did the same thing, because it makes me wonder how much of that material they were able to, you know, just drop in. The shots of the Enterprise, like high def Enterprise next to a planet. It's like, oh, we're just gonna change the color of the planet real quick. It's like it was orange that last time. Well, just throw some green on it. It'll look fine. See? I don't know why I had to say that like an old timey gangster. Ugh, this shape is so awkward. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, if you're not creating models, like physical models, and it's all in the computer, then let the fans do it. Let the fans, I don't know. I doubt they'd be fine with that. I'm gonna hide this chat and pull this one over. The built-in Streamlabs chat has not connected at all. This is actually not looking terrible. I'm almost curious to see what would happen if I just dropped it down. Right? Like if I just moved it over. Like this, and then I just recreated it. So what is it? 4? 2, 3, 4. Oh, are we gonna have this issue now? So I have to destroy it as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see how that looks. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, it looks like garbage. Looks like a garbage. Oh. Spending so much time on this. 2. Let's see what this looks like. Is that how it is? Yeah, 3 and then 5. No idea where this is going to connect. That's what I thought. Ugh. Oh, why can I not? The shape is impossible. All right. Just do it like this. We'll air it live. Oh, I also, the one thing about Next Generation that I find wildly amusing, and I forgot all about it, is how like Picard totally just yells at Wesley all the time. And then the episode where he was just like, "Shut up, Wesley," and then his mother was like, "Shut up, Wesley," and then he like started back talking again, and she was like, "Shut up, Wesley." I was like, "Yes." Uh, like tell him, you tell him, Picard. This was close. I was off by one. And so what I couldn't remember either. There was the episode in season one early on where the guy like basically like soups up their warp engines, and I thought that I don't know why I always thought that next gen got lost. You know, like they, and of course I know what happens later on, like with the Borg and stuff. But for some reason I was like, wait, isn't that like, are they going to be able to get back? I just couldn't remember. It was just, it's so funny how much of it I remember and how much of it I don't, which is a good thing because, like, obviously, if you're just watching it, I mean, and I watched it live when I was a kid, like every day with my dad every week. And so this is really the first time I've gone back to, like, check it out. What the heck am I doing wrong here? Let's just try this. Let's just see what this looks like. Okay. I'm not hating this as much, but it does need to slim out a little bit. Which simply means I need to pull it that way. One, two, three. Let's just do three and see what happens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, the episode where the Bionics, I don't know if that's actually the right term for them, where they essentially steal the ship. That was a really good episode where Riker and Picard get stuck in the holodeck with the jazz thing. I thought that was just like this like really good like simple episode. And then of course there's the one where like Evil Data. That was a fun episode. I remember that one a lot. And then of course Riker goes back in and is like tries to pull the woman back up, and it's like a totally different one. It's like that's pretty awesome. I just realized I destroyed this, but I'm going to think that this is gonna have to be. It's still close. Is it still? I guess my question is, it's still too. It's still too fat bottomed. It's getting close though. I think I need to go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5. Yeah, Bynars is just the acting by them too, like how they like talked and overlapped each other. That was pretty cool. I had forgotten about that. Oh, and the Picard episode where he plays the detective in San Francisco. That was a fun episode too. Like you kind of forget about the filler episodes. You know, like they're usually the best episodes, but like in terms of like things that happen, you know, in the world, you're just like, do they really need to be doing this much? Ah, yeah. See, I remember everyone just like railing on season one, and the first couple episodes. Like I said, the only thing about it that I like this shape a lot better. By the way, the only thing that I'm really just sort of like hating on a little bit is just the fact that like it just it just seems a little hokey in a couple. Like it just seems like they just were trying to, and I totally get it. Like they obviously have like the fan base that wants to you know, they want to pull the old fan base in and stuff like that. You know, it's just different when you think about it sort of in retrospect. It's just hard to sort of wrap your head around like, well, this is why they did this, and then that gave them the freedom to sort of expand production values and sort of storylines and stuff like that. It's just so funny how much it's trying to be like the first show and not be like the first show. And that's the only thing that really bothers me. And I think that's probably why the quality just seems so like off, is just because people know where it, you know, can go and where it went. So let's see. Am I truly happy with this shape? It's still a little awkward, but I don't know. Do I need to pull it down? Do I need to pull this side down? Or is this just a... I don't think I'm ever going to truly be happy. Let's count. Let's see how this is. This will tell me if this needs to be an odd number anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it needs to be at least one more down. I was thinking maybe one or two anyways. Let's see. Five. Have you seen or heard anything about the Picard series? I've only seen the weird wine trailer. I think that might be honestly probably why I started watching it again, just knowing that there was something else coming down the line. And I was like, I wanted to kind of not play catch up necessarily, but just go down nostalgia lane. Yeah. I might make that a little bit longer. Oh, yeah. Wonder Boys is my favorite film. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm very, very hopeful for it. Everything I've read about it and seen so far has been sounded interesting, at least. This is getting better. I don't know if the more I add on, the better or worse it's looking. Yeah, originally I think they were talking about, because there's that episode in season 1 where they ask Picard to basically stay at Starfleet. And so I'm wondering if maybe that's where people thought it was going. Okay, I can't tell if this is getting better or worse. I think at some point I just have to stop and just embrace the awkwardness of this shape. Who knows? This may not even work. It's still kind of fat in the middle. Do I need to bring it in one? Is it just one? No. I don't know. It was very confusing. But yeah, he oh, the other really good episode is and at first I kind of hated it because I thought the guy just the makeup and stuff looked terrible. But the episode where the admiral is taking those like Benjamin Button pills or whatever, um, that was a really good episode. Maybe a little overacted at times, but still a good episode. Yeah, the makeup was terrible. They're like, he's 84 years old. I'm like, good night. Looks like his face got melted. Looks like Pizza the Hut. Yeah, I guess you're right. Guest actors. At first, like, I thought it was going to be somebody I recognized. But yeah, it's just like, you don't have to do too much to age the guy down. Which I guess if you think about it, so his wife was actually an older lady and he himself was young. So yeah, I don't know. It just seemed very strange. I think I'm going to have to be okay with this shape. I think this is the closest I'm going to get. I'm just kind of coming up. Need to reference the actual airport. Yeah, it's like not even. It's not even close. The main reason is because of how it's like. Main reason is like it being um, not quite north south. Like obviously north and north in real life in the on the map in real life in Minecraft is completely different. So my north, not like it matters, but like their north is like this direction. So essentially, what this does is it then goes and kind of straightens it out like that, and then comes around that way. But we are a little bit restricted by that, so I think we're just gonna have to be okay with this shape. I think the only thing I could do, and this is just me getting crazy, is I could lessen this a little bit. Let me just see what happens when I do that. Oops. All right. I'm going to try one last ditch effort. Well, and the problem is where do I start it? I guess I need to start it. Well, I think that's the issue. Is I think this has to do with everything. But then if it's too skinny here, then this becomes too skinny. I like this width here. I just don't know about this. So, how do I fix? How do I fix that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 plus 3 is 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it's 18. So we're just going to do this. This is the stuff I spend hours on, which is so sad. It's not really going to change much. Balls. One, two, three, four, five. 2, 3. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, see how much skinnier that makes it? I think I want to split the difference and try it like this. Did you see the Top Gun trailer? Holy moly. I'm ready for that movie. I got all the feels during that thing. More than I expected. I forgot that it was actually happening like Comic. I forgot they were going to be at Comic-Con. And then it's just like, hey, watch the trailer. And I'm just like, oh, shoot. So I like sat down like a big freaking kid right in front of the TV. And I was just like, bring it. They brought it. I was like, yes. I've been waiting my whole life for this. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the continuation thing is great. I'm totally fine with that. Everyone's like, oh, nostalgia and blah blah. I'm like, nostalgia is not a bad thing at times. It helps you establish. It immediately allows you to establish like an environment, scenes. I mean, it's they're like, I don't know. There's so many things about that movie that are so good and stylistic that I just feel like people forget about and don't appreciate. Don't know which one of these is better. I'm gonna say neither. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna hack the system. I don't know why that curvature is so weird on the bottom part, but I'm just going to mirror. So I'm gonna add one more. And then just do this. Hot dang, that might be it. Yeah, the only thing about the trailer that was a little concerning to me, I don't know, it felt, I didn't see enough of Cruise as Pete Mitchell. Like it just felt like Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise, if that makes sense. Like I don't know. There's something about the character, like the cockiness with like the vulnerability. Well, I cannot say that word. And of course, I know it's just a teaser, so it's not, you're not gonna get that right away. I don't know. It just there was something a little off about it that I'm cautiously optimistic about. So it'll be interesting to see, what's what. But I did see something floating around Twitter this morning about his jacket, his flight, no, not his flight jacket, but just his leather jacket, how they changed the patches on the back of it because of like all the South Pacific stuff going on. Man, I think this is it. I think I can live with this. I think this is where we're at. We only make movies for China. How dare us? I think if it wasn't for China, this movie wouldn't exist. So thank you, China. Yeah, that's the shape. Hot dang. I'm glad I pushed on. So now I gotta figure out this glass. But yeah, now I've got to decide when it comes out. I mean, I'm definitely there opening day. I'm probably going to settle in on the IMAX. Like, I mean, it only makes sense to go see it in IMAX, right? I saw it when they re-released it in 3D or whatever. And that was pretty awesome. Good grief. Learn how to place blocks, you dummy. There we go. Just kind of wanted to see how that is. Okay. So, what I can do now, hopefully not break the game. Ooh. It's pretty tight. I'm going to I do this so I don't have to place all the blocks. Although I guess if I do this, it's not really going to matter because I'm replacing the air. I'm not replacing the dirt, so I could do 10. 10's fine. I have to find a sweet spot. There we go. I'll just break these. I think seeing the shape with more will help me do what I need to do. I was up pretty late working on a computer for work. Stupid thing still won't do what I need it to do. The audio card is being really finicky with old software, so I don't know if I'm actually going to get it to run on Windows 7. So here's, okay, there are some people here that are probably will be able to track with this, which is the dumbest thing ever. So the audio drivers for this sound card, since the sound card is old, they only went up to Windows 7 64-bit. So when I'm building this computer, I'm like, oh, I'll just use, the Windows 7 USB installer. So I bought a motherboard which has some serial ports on the back of it as well, because some of the equipment we use requires a serial connection. And so rather than having to buying an adapter to plug into the motherboard and then whatever. I just was like, if it was just automatically built into the system, that would be great, like the motherboard. There was something else about the motherboard too that I needed. I don't know. There's something else. Oh, it needed a PCI slot, like an old school PCI, just regular, not express, just straight up old school, like big bam, here you go, ma'am, slot. So now I've got to figure out. I'm jumping back into this real quick. Need to figure out where that's. I'll have to figure out how this curves so that this just stands out by itself. It looks a little funny, but I think it's kind of supposed to. But anyways, so the issue that I have or had was that whenever you go to install Windows 7 off of a USB stick, which is what I was doing in this case, you can only it doesn't recognize. So the back of the motherboard only has USB 2 and USB 3 inputs, and it for some reason the Windows installer is like, you need to like install the drivers for this before we can continue. And it's like, okay, here's the installation disk, like the motherboard comes with drivers and stuff like that. And it's just like, all right, cool. So then it like detects and then like installs the drivers before the Windows install. And it's like, all right, I can't, I don't see anything. I don't see any devices here. And it's like the keyboard is working. The keyboard is plugged into a USB 2 port. And then it's like, well, fine, I'll try the USB 3 port, and it works just fine. And then you like does the driver thing again. It's just like, sorry guys, I don't recognize that. And it's like, it's working. The keyboard is here. Like install Windows, and it's only Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 8. It's like a generational thing. Like it has something to do with like the motherboard or operating system, one or the other, not being manufactured before it was supposed to. I have no idea. I think it's more with the OS than anything else. And so luckily, and this is an Asus motherboard, so luckily they have like a program where it's like you write the ISO, the Windows 7 installer ISO, to the flash drive, and then you run this program on top of it. It's called Easy Installer, Easy Installer. And then it like sort of modifies the Windows installer to automatically see like, yep, there's like the drivers are here. You're good to go. Go ahead and install it. Like it's just a USB 2 and 3 thing with Windows 7 for some reason. It works totally fine in Windows 10 or whatever, which I would put Windows 10 on this machine. I just don't know if the audio driver would work. And right now the audio driver is not working, so I'm probably going to go ahead and just try Windows 10 just to see if I can get it to work. Because, you know, even though it's a driver only supported for Windows 7 doesn't mean 10 couldn't run it properly. I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. So then it's like you have to go through this whole process of it modifying your flash drive so that you can install Windows. And it's just like, why? Like, why is this the thing? The first thing that happened was that the jumper layout on the motherboard itself isn't correct. And so the computer wasn't coming on. So I thought I got a bricked motherboard and or CPU. And so luckily I had just read a random post online that was like, oh, here's the correct jumper layout for this motherboard. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, it was one off. Like the power and ground was one off. And the motherboard itself doesn't have a power button. And the other thing that was weird too is that if you plug in, it has a USB. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's called. I'm looking at the reference real quick. That's the COM port. It's an 11. It's called. Well, it's got a USB 2 connector on the motherboard itself. So I connected it to. I connected my front USB ports to that connector, and it's like, nope. Like whenever you start the computer up, it's like, nope. This is bad. Like there's a power surge here. So I'm gonna restart after 15 seconds. Like unless you can figure out how to fix it. And so for the longest time, that was the issue I ran into after I figured out the jumper thing. So I'm just like, why does this motherboard hate me so much? And then, of course, then I ran into the Windows 7 thing. I'm just like, good night. This, like, it's just a sign. I think it was just a sign to try Windows 10. Because it would be amazing is if I just installed Windows 10 and it would be fine. Because now what's happening is I can actually play audio through the audio card software, but the so this is for a radio station. So the automation software that I'm trying to use is now basically saying like device is, I can't remember exactly what it says. It's like it acts as if the audio card is already being used for something, and so it throws up all these errors. So what I want to do is I want to run the software, and I need to do this afternoon. Is I want to pull the audio card and run the software and see what happens, because technically the software shouldn't run unless it has something, but I'd like to see if it like doesn't throw any error messages, which would tell me that there's just something to do with, because this software I've only ever run it on Windows XP, and it works fine on Windows XP, but unfortunately new hardware doesn't like XP very much. So I don't know. I'm just trying to get this software to run on new architecture, and it's just the biggest pain in my butt. But if I were to ever get it figured out, it would just be so much easier to deal with, because we wouldn't just be putting band-aids and limping along to get this crap to work. But it's just the bane of my existence whenever I have to go rebuild a computer in the middle of the night. You know, whether it's like a hard drive failure or, you know, I don't know. It's always frustrating. I just want to be done with it, because everyone's like, there's people in the industry that are like, yep, it works just fine. And it's just like, but it's not. And so it might honestly just come down to, I didn't even think about this until just now, just buying a used, newer version of this audio card that would work with this thing that we have. It's called a breakout box. So it's a cable that runs from the breakout box. It's a digital, well, technically it's an analog cable, but it's like a newer serial style cable that runs from the breakout box that then converts the, so it has 4 outputs. The audio card has 4, technically 8, but it has 4 left and right combined outputs. And then on the back of the breakout box, it has a combined, so like 1L, 1R, 2L, 2R, etc. So it has 8 analog XLR outputs that you can then hook up to an audio console. And so right now, all the ports seem to work independently in the audio. Audio Science is the manufacturer of the audio card, and I know this is getting way more technical, but it's giving me something to talk about why I do the mundane process of putting down all these glass blocks. Welcome to creative building in Minecraft. And so, and who knows, maybe me talking out loud will make me think of a solution. But, oh shoot, I placed so many blocks that I may not need to. Bah. That's all right, Pan. Appreciate you stopping by. Get that computer working. And so I've got an audio console that I stream with, so I plugged in just, I went to each port, left, right, on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just, you can load, in the software, you can load up an audio file and just play stuff out of it. I don't know how I'm going to figure out this roof line with this curve. That's going to be interesting. Oh, man, that's going to be a fun challenge. Because it's like, where do you... I guess we just... Yeah, okay. We'll get it figured out. And so you can load like a wave file or whatever. And it plays fine. It was so distorted. It was like it was like pushing it really loud. See what I mean? See how I like put all these in here? But luckily I'm going to start over here, so it doesn't matter. And so it's just a software issue that it doesn't, like it's just thinking that it doesn't have full control over the audio card. So I'm wondering if maybe I just push comes to shove, we just need to bite the bullet and rather than buying like a whole new automation system package, which, you know, would cost thousands of dollars, you know, if not tens of thousands of dollars to get, you know, 3 radio stations fully operational with a production, you know, suite as well. I don't know why I'm placing these blocks. Stop it. I'm almost done, so I might as well. It's just like, I got to. I need to stop next time, halfway. I may just buy a used Audio Science card that works on Windows 10 and just see if it works, you know, like see if it doesn't have the same problems, because I'd much rather spend, you know, a couple $100 than a couple thousand. Okay, so this needs to go up like this and then that way. So this will go this way and then we'll go down here. So whatever that looks like over there, this is what it'll look like here. How many glasses wide is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's actually not that far off, because I'm not mistaken, this would be, that was 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we're 5 off. So we could probably make that work. We can probably make that work. Okay. Give me 1 second. I got to fix something. And I probably have to go soon anyways. I've got a few things I need to do with the family. So maybe that's what we will do, is I will just call it quits here now that we've sort of got this figured out. I do appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out with me while I try to figure out how to do a circle. That looks really cool from here, though. That right there looks really cool, and I'm sure once we get more things in front of it and around it and surrounding it and inside it, that's going to look even better. But I'll probably have to figure out this roof line on my own. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that looks really cool. And how many times are people really going to be looking at it, you know, from above anyways? As long as it's nice and curvy and it looks fine on the inside. I guess we can jump on the inside and look. You know, yeah, it is what it is. I think we'll make this work. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. So I don't know the next time I'll stream. Probably sometime this week. In the next week or so. Maybe a few nights here and there as well. My wife does go to sleep early sometimes. And, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, if you missed the stream earlier, I did give a big tour of the airport itself. So whenever this thing is one and done, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, check it out. That'll give you all sorts of fun information about what the airport is and what the plans are for it and what I've done so far. So until next time, this is JPT. Go play your games, and I'll be seeing you.